Beneath the Arabian desert, faint lines reveal something extraordinary. A hidden empire of roads, water, and trade. 2,000 years ago, a forgotten people engineered the impossible across one of Earth's most unforgiving landscapes. They built a civilization that defied every law of desert survival. Beneath the sand of the Arabian desert lie the remains of a road network so precisely engineered it moved more wealth per mile than any route in the ancient world. This was not accident. This was deliberate mastery of an impossibly hostile terrain. Greek writers called them merchants, nomads, desert wanderers. History gave them one label, but the desert revealed another. Carved into stone, hidden beneath crimson rock, a civilization that engineered an empire from nothing but will, water, and ingenious calculation. Carved into canyon walls, hidden from the ancient world, Petra was no mere trading post. Beneath its rose-red cliffs, engineers designed a hydraulic capital where water was mastered, roads were precision-built, and an entire empire was deliberately concealed in stone. The Nabataeans didn't just trade the ancient world's most valuable goods. Frankincense, myrrh, silk. They built the entire machine that moved them. They engineered the infrastructure. And history almost forgot to tell that extraordinary story. To understand what they built, you must first understand the brutal obstacle they faced. Every civilization that craved frankincense, myrrh, or silk faced one brutal obstacle: 600 miles of waterless desert. No water. No shade. No mercy. The spice routes existed, but crossing them should have been impossible. Yet someone found a way. Without infrastructure, the desert did not forgive. Caravans that ventured into the Negev or Hejaz unprepared discovered brutal truth. Water ran out, animals collapsed, men vanished into sand. The desert wasn't a trade route. It was a graveyard where empires went to die. The Nabataeans understood something every other civilization missed. The desert doesn't lack water. It lacks the engineering to capture it. Beneath these ancient highlands, flash floods carved the wadis, and Nabataean engineers discovered how to turn that fleeting violence into permanent survival. Rain falls miles away, invisible and irrelevant to most. But Nabataean engineers understood something hidden beneath the desert surface. Precisely angled slopes, carved channels, stone-lined basins. Every wadi became a funnel. One storm intercepted and stored could sustain entire caravan cities for months. These channels were carved at angles precise enough to direct runoff from storms 20 kilometers away into single underground cisterns. This reveals something crucial. This was not guesswork. This was deliberate, calculated engineering deliberately carved into stone across vast distances. Beneath the Negev desert, archaeologists have uncovered over 17,000 individual terraces and water installations. This was not merely survival strategy. This was infrastructure at industrial scale. Engineered ambition deliberately carved into stone across generations. Cisterns near Obota and Mamses sustain thousands of people where rainfall barely reaches 100 millimeters annually. Today, modern drip irrigation engineers study these ancient systems, discovering solutions beneath the desert that still challenge our most sophisticated assumptions about water management. Without solving water, there is no road. Without roads, there is no empire. The Nabataeans solved water first. Then built everything else on that foundation. Beneath this burning desert lies the ingenious solution that transformed survival into commerce and survival into civilization. Beneath the desert's silence lay a web of engineered roads stretching 2,500 kilometers. From Hira north through Petra, branching toward Gaza, Egypt, Damascus. The Nabataeans did not follow the desert. They conquered it, meter by engineered meter. An engineered Nabataean road was no simple track. Graded surfaces shed flash floods before they could destroy. Rock-cut passages split mountain walls. Stone markers blazed routes visible beneath desert starlight. Every element solved a problem that could end caravans and kingdoms alike. This was not coincidence. This was operations planning. Someone calculated load weight, animal endurance, water consumption, march time. Then built infrastructure to match. Every caravanserai was placed exactly 1 day's loaded camel march apart. 25 kilometers of desert, precisely accounted for. Every way station was a logistics node. Water stored. Animals rested. Goods secured. A caravan entering the Nabataean network didn't gamble with survival. It operated on schedule, moving through engineered precision across hundreds of kilometers of open, hostile desert. The Nabataeans never needed to own the spice itself. They owned the road. They charged for water, for way station, for passage through their engineered corridor. Control the infrastructure of the most valuable trade route on earth, and wealth flows to you inevitably. Rome built roads with legions and imperial treasure. The Nabataeans built a comparable network as private enterprise. Funded by tolls, driven by merchants. No emperor commanded it. No army enforced it. Commerce alone carved paths through solid stone. And at the center of this entire system sat one city. A city that should not exist. Carved inside a mountain, in the middle of a desert. Yet it became one of the wealthiest places on earth. Petra. The nerve center of an empire built on sand and engineered brilliance. The location was a defensive masterstroke of geography. One entrance. Sheer walls. Impossible to storm. Easy to block. The sick. A narrow canyon barely wide enough for 2 camels. Stretched 1.2 kilometers, funneling every visitor, every army, every potential threat into a single controlled corridor. Before a single temple was carved into Petra's rose-red cliffs, the Nabataeans had already conquered the desert itself. They channeled spring water from Ain Musa miles away through terracotta pipes pressed into solid rock. A pressurized delivery system built from nothing but necessity, engineering, and pure brilliance. Beneath Petra's sandstone, engineers carved over 200 cisterns, dams, and filtration channels. Supplying 30,000 people where almost no surface water existed. This was not mere survival against the odds. This was the deliberate conquest of a hostile desert through systematic engineering. Every caravan arriving in Petra carried profit. Every merchant needing water paid for it. Every pilgrim passing through funded another cistern carved from stone. Petra did not merely survive the desert. It transformed scarcity itself into an empire's most powerful currency and greatest advantage. Diodorus Siculus, a Greek historian who walked the Nabataean desert, wrote with barely concealed amazement, "They claim as their native land a wilderness without water." He saw the barren surface. He never discovered what lay beneath the burning sands. In 312 BCE, a Greek Macedonian force marched on Petra. And the desert swallowed them. No walls stopped the invaders. The Nabataeans had hidden every water source, erased every road, concealed every landmark. The desert itself became their most powerful weapon. The Nabataeans didn't need an army. They needed the enemy to take one step off their engineered road network. The desert did the rest. Beneath those burning sands lay a trap no soldier could fight. Invisible, patient, and absolutely lethal. In 106 CE, Rome annexed the Nabataean kingdom. They expected to absorb a lesser civilization. What they discovered stopped them cold. Roads, cisterns, hydraulic systems of staggering sophistication. Rome didn't replace Nabataean infrastructure. They kept it. That is the ultimate verdict. Rome, the greatest road-building empire in history, looked at what the Nabataeans had built and made a remarkable decision. Rather than tear it down and rebuild, Emperor Trajan incorporated their entire network wholesale, renaming it the Via Nova Traiana. The greatest compliment one empire can pay another. Trajan added milestones. He added Roman stamps and official markers. But discover what lies beneath the surface and the truth is undeniable. The road was Nabataean, the geometry was Nabataean, the cisterns were Nabataean. Rome inherited a desert empire already perfected. Rome built the Colosseum, the Pantheon. And when they absorbed the Nabataean kingdom, they left the roads untouched. That is not the choice of a conqueror dismissing primitive work. That is one engineer recognizing another's genius across the silence of centuries in desert. The infrastructure outlasted the civilization that built it. But history only remembered one of them. From above, you can still see what they built. Faint lines in the sand. 2,000 years of erosion couldn't erase the geometry. The Nabataeans didn't just survive the desert. They rewrote what the desert could become through engineering and vision. The Nabataean script became Arabic, the voice of over 1 billion people today. Their water harvesting principles guide engineers battling desertification worldwide. Their roads echo in every highway rest stop ever built. They never truly vanished from human civilization. History called them traders. But traders don't build pressurized water systems through solid rock. Traders don't engineer roads that Rome refuses to replace. Traders don't design a city sustaining 30,000 people in a waterless mountain. Engineers do that. The Nabataeans didn't pave a trade route. They paved a trade empire. And carved it so deep into the desert that even forgetting couldn't erase it from the landscape. The Nabataeans were hidden in plain sight. Who comes next? Subscribe and discover where we will take you.